Good afternoon, St. Pete. I am again joining you from our city's Emergency Operations Center, where dedicated public servants have been working for months to protect our community from COVID-19, as well as prepare us for this coming hurricane season. It's been a busy, challenging time, but as public safety is our #1 priority, it's time well spent. Now, as you know, throughout most of this public health crisis, St. Pete was spared from the worst. We did well. We stayed home, shuttered our businesses, sacrificed for our most vulnerable, ensured our hospitals weren't overwhelmed. These early actions, as well as things we may never understand about COVID, made St. Pete one of those success stories. We shined bright, and we still can. Yes, the numbers have gotten worse, and what the numbers are telling us is that we are experiencing community spread, not just breakouts of COVID in long-term care facilities. Governor DeSantis has blamed the statewide surge, which would include the surge we are seeing, on the fact that more testing has occurred. And while he's right that more testing has occurred, he's wrong that this is what's causing the surge. Simple math tells us that. He also blamed it on infections in long-term care facilities, jails, and even among migrant workers. As it relates to St. Pete, he's wrong about that as well. St. Pete's community spread is largely due to young adults letting their guard down. The data and the many closures of our downtown bars and restaurants paint a clear picture for us. Now, last week, County Commissioner Ken Welch said, folks seem to have gotten the wrong message, that reopening means business as usual. And I agree with the commissioner. As I've said time and again, restarting St. Pete doesn't get us back to normal or business as usual. It gets us back to a new normal that may exist for many months, if not years. So for the time being, absent federal and state leadership, and in advance of additional county actions, let's get back to doing what we do best in St. Pete, leading the way. So first, I want to thank everyone who has heeded the guidance laid out in the St. Pete way. I've seen the signs on your businesses. I've seen your social media posts. I've seen many of you doing the right thing. You've helped to keep St. Pete safe. But as the data indicates and illustrates, it's not enough. And the truth is, we need many more of you doing things the right way, the St. Pete way. For example, in my update last week, Pinellas County had just received 2,469 test results on June 8th. Now, of those, only 1.8% of those tests were positive, 45 people. Yesterday's test totals in Pinellas County was 1,918, but a 6.6% positivity rate. That's 136 people. So more tests doesn't necessarily equate to more positives, Mr. Governor. More positives equate to more positives. And in Pinellas, while the 2-week trend is headed in the wrong direction, we do still remain under that 5% positive threshold that is often cited. We need to keep it that way. In order to help do so, mask usage in St. Pete must increase. And so, beginning at 5 p.m. on Friday, all St. Pete businesses, including restaurants, bars, gyms, retail establishments, entertainment businesses, and personal service businesses such as barbershops and salons, will be required to have their employees wear a face mask or covering while in areas of the business open to the public. The order I sign will have common sense exceptions, such as for medical conditions. Violation of this order is a municipal ordinance violation, which could result in financial or other business operations-related sanctions. Please understand this. We intend on taking this seriously. As such, don't expect to simply receive a warning if you are not in compliance with this order or the governor's order or the county order. Consider this your warning. And while city personnel will be monitoring and visiting businesses, we will mostly be responsive in nature, given our resources. So, If you see a violation, you're asked to call the St. Pete Police Department's non-emergency line at 727-893-7780. That's 727-893-7780. You may also email us at action@stpete.org. Again, that's action@stpete.org. And we'll forward your email to the appropriate department. In addition to continuing to adhere to all existing orders, which includes occupancy limits and social distancing requirements, all businesses will also be required to create and post a plan specific to your workplace that identifies all areas and job tasks with potential exposure to COVID-19 and describes the measures that you're going to be taking to eliminate or reduce exposures in your establishment. The CDC, OSHA, the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation are just a few of the agencies that provide guidance on the creation of such a plan. Now, I have further asked our city attorney's office to draft an order requiring that all residents wear a mask when entering businesses or other indoor places shared by groups of people, of course excluding residences. There will again be common sense exceptions, such as removing a mask once seated at a table in a restaurant, for an example. This order is not yet complete, and I don't plan to enact it prior to this weekend. We want to give our residents enough time to prepare for such an order should it be necessary. However, I strongly encourage all residents who haven't done so already to begin wearing masks when inside an establishment or near others. And to our business owners, we've all seen the signs, no shoes, no shirt, no service. Well, I'm going to suggest you add masks to that, with or without a city order. So if someone is in violation or they refuse to put on a mask or to leave, call us. We have your back. Dr. Ron Saff was one of several doctors who stood outside the governor's mansion yesterday. And he told reporters, "You may not like wearing a mask, but it beats wearing a ventilator." I really think that sums it up. We have a choice, St. Pete. We can suffer the short-term inconveniences and put the worst of this virus behind us, or we can suffer indefinitely in fits and starts. We can wear a mask, protect others and ourselves, or we can contribute to someone's death, maybe even our own. This is the time for us to shine. This is again our time to lead. Now, I've been talking with county officials about this, and my hope is that they follow suit, because combating this virus is far more effective if all 24 municipalities in Pinellas County are united. It is far more effective if our region and our state is united. But for now, it's up to us, me and you. We will get through this, and we will be stronger for it. And with that, I'll take questions from Yolanda Fernandez, who's received several from the media. Yolanda?
Mayor, this question is from Skyla at patch.com. Do you see bars as a new hotspot for the virus?
You know, I think when you look at the demographics of where we're seeing the largest spike, which again is in ages 25 to 34, it shouldn't be a surprise that we are seeing that as a location where it is a hotspot and where we're seeing large numbers of people congregating and not necessarily wearing masks and following social distancing guidelines. So folks, you need to do that, please.
She has another question. What is the city's unemployment rate, and which sectors of the local economy are rebounding well and which are still struggling to recover?
So prior to all this starting, our unemployment rate was about 3%. We don't have the most current data as far as what that rate is currently sitting at, but what I do know is this. Our Grow Smarter strategy businesses, there were 5 segments that we had identified under our Grow Smarter strategies. Those businesses seem to be doing well. Arts and cultural design, financial services, marine and life sciences. So those segments are doing well. But what we do know also is that it's our hospitality industry that seem to be struggling the most. Data analytics is also one of those services, along with specialized manufacturing.
The next question is from Evan Axelbank at Fox 13. What percentage of new cases do you believe are caused by community spread in public places?
Yeah, we haven't been able to break down that specifically, but really the big question that so many people have had is when we've seen the increase in our percentage of positive tests, how much of that is related to long-term care facilities, assisted living facilities, nursing homes? And when we had a spike several weeks ago, a lot of it was attributed to those places. But these last couple weeks has not been attributed to those facilities. It is attributed to community spread.
The next question is from Telemundo. Do you think the governor made the right decision to keep going with the reopening?
You know, when the governor implemented phase one, the data that we had available to us reflected that was appropriate. And what we liked about it was it seemed to be very measured in its implementation. When we got to phase two, the data still seemed to indicate it was appropriate to look at a phase two of reopening. But if you look at that order, there is a lot more of that order that is encouraging behavior as compared to mandating behavior. So that's a bit concerning. The other thing is based on his comments, he doesn't seem to be very flexible, and it doesn't seem to be paying attention to what's happening in the state of Florida right now, certainly not in our area, and is not taking the data and the increases that we're seeing in our percentages into consideration, and that's problematic, and it's forcing mayors like me and mayors around the state of Florida to take additional actions.
Mayor, our last question is from Megan Holmes at St. Pete Catalyst. She asks, how has the increased outdoor seating allowance in parking spaces gone for businesses? Are there more needs that businesses are expressing to the city related to increasing outdoor capacity?
Yeah, so far, I think it's gone really well. The businesses that have taken advantage of it have been very pleased by having the opportunity to add more capacity outside, which is, if you're going to add capacity, we'd much rather it be outside. And they've done it in a way where they are socially distancing. So that's been good. I think there's opportunities for other businesses, if they haven't taken advantage of this, to take advantage of it. Other than that, we haven't had calls asking for anything additional over and above what we're already doing. So I think it's gone well so far.
No more questions, Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Yolanda. I just want to remind everybody once again that the order that I will be entering today, all of the business community, this will go into effect Friday at 5 p.m. So please act accordingly. We will be out to make sure that you're following the rules. So my friends, we're really at a crossroads. The decisions we make today will not only impact the physical health of our community, but also the mental and economic health of our community. So show your kindness and compassion to our community. Do the right thing. Wear your mask. Maintain social distancing. Be St. Pete. Be that ray of sunshine that illuminates our entire community. Thank you all so much.